Backup generators at Mercy General sound different than the Kohler units at Northwestern, higher pitch, like they're working harder. 23 years doing cardiothoracic surgery in Chicago, you learn these things. You learn which hospitals skimp on maintenance, which ones test their systems monthly like they're supposed to, which ones fake the logs. Mercy's generators always sounded strained. I'm thinking about this because the lights just went out. All of them. Main power, the whole grid. I watched the skyline through the surgical bay windows go black section by section, south to north, like someone pulling a blanket over the city. August 27th, 9:47 p.m. I know because I checked my watch right before the backup generator kicked in, that high whine I recognized, and the emergency lights came up red. Dr. Ward, do we continue? That's Priya Castellanos, my surgical nurse. 15 years we've worked together. She's got steady hands and she doesn't ask stupid questions, which is why I keep requesting her. The patient on the table, Trevor Lindholm, 56, triple bypass. His vitals are stable on the bypass machine. We're 40 minutes into a 3-hour procedure. His chest is open. His heart is in my hands, technically. Well, stopped and waiting while the machine does the work. We continue, I say. Power outage doesn't change the fact that Mr. Lindholm needs these grafts. The backup lights make everything look wrong. Red emergency illumination turns blood black, makes the tissue look like something from a butcher shop instead of a living human body. I hate working under backup power. Did it during the 03 blackout at Northwestern. Finished an aortic valve replacement with a flashlight duct taped to the surgical lamp because even the backup systems failed. Mr. Lindholm's not going to die because Chicago's electrical grid can't handle August heat. Suction, I say, and Priya's there before I finish the word. The thing about cardiac surgery, people think it's about the heart, but it's about everything else. It's about keeping blood flowing to the brain while you stop the heart to fix it. It's about maintaining temperature, pressure, oxygen saturation. It's systems management. You're running life support for a body that temporarily doesn't have a functional heart, and every second counts because brains don't do well without oxygen. For minutes and you start getting damage. 6 minutes and that damage is permanent. I'm grafting the first vessel when I hear it. Sound from downstairs. From the sub-basement, actually, where they keep the organ storage units and the morgue. Through the floor vents. Not mechanical. Not the generator or HVAC. This is different. Dr. Ward. Priya heard it too. Focus on the patient, I say, but I heard it. Scraping. Metal on metal. Something moving down there. The sub-basement at Mercy General has the transplant organ storage. We're a level 1 trauma center, designated for organ recovery and transplantation. State-of-the-art preservation systems, all computer monitored. Temperature, oxygenation, nutrient perfusion for the organs we're keeping viable for transport or transplant. Kidneys can last 36 hours in cold storage. Hearts about 4 to 6. Livers 12 to 18. There's millions of dollars of preservation equipment down there. There's also Belmont Ramsey, my daughter, 29 years old, emergency medicine resident, 3rd year. She's supposed to be off shift, her rotation ended at 9. But I saw her car in the parking garage when I came in for this emergency case at 7. That's Belmont. She stays late, helps the incoming shift, reviews charts. She's going to be a better doctor than I ever was because she actually cares about the patients as people, not just as systems to manage. If she's still in the hospital during this blackout. Dr. Ward, you need to see this. It's Jackson Reeves, the anesthesiologist. He's looking at the monitor, but not at Trevor Lindholm's vitals. At the security feed that's somehow still running on the backup power, displayed on the small screen we usually use for patient imaging during surgery. The sub-basement camera feed is showing the organ storage corridor. And something's moving, not walking, not quite, lurching. The red emergency lights down there flicker, but I see it clearly enough. A shape approximately human-sized, moving between the preservation units. This motion is wrong. Joints bending in directions they shouldn't. It moves to one of the storage units, and even from the grainy security feed, I watch it open the unit. It's taking something out. That's not possible, Jackson says. He's young, 32, smart enough to do anesthesia but still believes the world makes sense. Those units require keycard access and biometric. The shape on the screen turns toward the camera. It has no face. Not exactly. It has a face, but the face is incomplete. Half-formed. Skin stretched over bone without muscle structure underneath, like something wearing human tissue as a loose covering. The thing moves again, faster now, and the camera feed cuts to black. Keep working, I say, because Trevor Lindholm's heart still needs 3 more grafts, and I'm the only person in this surgical bay who can do them. Reeves, check if security is responding to that. Priya, I need the saphenous vein graft ready. We're accelerating this procedure. My hands don't shake. They never shake. That's what 23 years of cardiac surgery teaches you. Your hands work independent of what you're feeling. I'm grafting vessels onto a stopped heart while my brain is running calculations. Belmont's car in the garage. Sub-basement access from the emergency department. Whatever that thing was on the camera. The way it moved. The way its face looked incomplete. I'm grafting the second vessel when the screaming starts. It's coming from below us. Not the sub-basement anymore, ground floor. The emergency department, where Belmont works. Multiple voices, overlapping. The surgical bay is on the 4th floor, supposedly isolated from the chaos of the ED, but I hear it clearly through the ventilation system. And then the overhead speaker crackles. Code Amber, all floors. Code Amber. Security to emergency department. Repeat, Code Amber. Code Amber. Hazardous materials incident. Biological contamination protocol. We use it for infectious disease exposure, chemical spills, anything that requires lockdown and containment. That's not a hazmat situation, Jackson says, still staring at the dead security monitor. That was something else. Priya looks at me. Do we stop? Trevor Lindholm has 2 more grafts to go. Maybe 90 minutes of surgery. His vitals are stable. But Code Amber means the hospital is in lockdown. It means something on the ground floor is dangerous enough that they're sealing sections. It means my daughter might be trapped down there with whatever made those people scream. We finish, I say, starting the 3rd graft. We finish fast. I complete Trevor Lindholm's bypass in 72 minutes. Not my personal record, that's 68 minutes during a mass casualty event in 2019, but fast enough that Reeves asks twice if I'm sure about my anastomosis. I'm sure. The grafts are solid. I close the chest, and Priya's already prepping the transfer to recovery before I pull my gloves off. Dr. Ward, that's Tyrell Morton, head of hospital security, on the intercom. His voice sounds tight. We need you in the ED. Now. I just finished surgery. Dr. Ramsey requested you specifically. My hands stop, just for a second. Then they're moving again, faster, stripping off my surgical gown. Is she injured? But we have... Static breaks up his words. Situation. Multiple casualties. She said you're the only one with the clearance for... More static. Storage protocols. Belmont's alive. Not injured. I hold on to that information like it's a vital sign I'm monitoring. The surgical bay is on the 4th floor. I take the stairs because the elevators are on backup power and slow. The stairwell emergency lights make everything the color of old blood. My legs know this route. I've walked it thousands of times, usually heading up from the ED to surgery, patients bleeding out, minutes counting. Going down feels different. 2nd floor landing, I hear something below me. Movement in the stairwell. Footsteps, but the rhythm's wrong. Uneven. Dragging. I stop, listening. Hello. Standard protocol. Identify yourself in emergency situations. This is Dr. Ward, cardiothoracic surgery. Identify yourself. The movement stops, then starts again. Faster now. Coming up the stairs toward me. I back up to the 2nd floor door, pull it open. The corridor beyond is dark except for the red emergency lights every 20 feet. Medical surgical wing. Quiet. Too quiet for a hospital, even at night. There should be call buttons, monitor alarms, nurses at the station. Nobody. The stairwell door swings shut behind me, but not before I see what was climbing toward me. It's wearing surgical scrubs. Blue ones, like the ones I just took off. The body shape is approximately human, 2 arms, 2 legs, torso, head. But the proportions are wrong. The arms are too long, hanging past where the knees should be. The head tilts at an angle that would break a normal neck. And the face. Same as the thing on the security camera. Skin stretched over bone without proper musculature underneath. Eyes present but not quite aligned in the sockets. Mouth opening and closing but no sound coming out, like it's trying to remember how to speak. It sees me through the door window. It moves toward the door. I run. I'm 51 years old. I do cardio 3 times a week, but I'm not fast. And this corridor is dark and unfamiliar. Wrong floor, wrong wing. I work in surgery and the cardiac unit, not med-surg. I pass patient rooms, doors closed, and I don't look inside because I need to find the other stairwell, the one on the opposite end, need to get to the ground floor, to the ED, to Belmont. Behind me, the stairwell door opens. The thing's footsteps sound wrong on the linoleum. Too heavy, like it weighs more than a human body should. There. The exit sign at the far end, glowing red. I hit the stairwell door moving fast, almost fall down the first flight because I'm not slowing down. My heart rate is elevated and I'm breathing hard and I'm thinking about what that thing looked like. The way its face was incomplete, the way its body moved like something that had forgotten how human mechanics work. Ground floor. The stairwell opens into a corridor near radiology. I know this route. It connects to the ED through the imaging wing. I can hear voices now. Real voices. Human speech patterns. Someone's yelling orders. Someone else is crying. I push through the double doors into the emergency department. It looks like a war zone. Gurneys overturned. Medical equipment scattered. Blood on the floor, arterial spray patterns on the walls, which means major vessel damage, which means casualties. The nursing station is empty. Computers still running on backup power. Screens showing vital signs for patients who aren't there anymore. Dad. Belmont's voice. I spin, see her emerging from trauma bay 3, and the relief hits me so hard I actually stop moving for a second. She's alive. She's walking. No visible injuries. She's also covered in blood that isn't hers. I can tell from the spray pattern on her white coat, arterial splash from someone else's injury. What happened? I'm moving toward her, checking her over automatically. No wounds, no obvious trauma. She's okay, my daughter is okay. The organs, Belmont says. She's breathing fast, talking fast. That thing she does when she's scared but trying to stay professional. The ones in the sub-basement storage. When the backup generator kicked in, something happened to the preservation systems. The monitoring showed massive electrical surges, way above normal parameters. And then, Dr. Ramsey. That's Tyrell Morton, head of security. Big guy, former CPD, he's seen things. Right now, he looks like he's seen something he can't categorize. We need to show him. They lead me to Trauma Bay 5. The bay is sealed, plastic containment barriers taped over the doorway, proper code amber protocol. Through the clear plastic, I see what's inside. It's wearing what used to be a patient gown. The body is male, approximately 6 feet, but the proportions are wrong. Torso too long, limbs not quite right. The skin has that same stretched quality I saw on the thing in the stairwell. And I recognize what I'm looking at because I've done this procedure hundreds of times. That's a transplant recipient body, post-operative. The surgical scars are visible on the chest sternotomy scar, exactly where you'd cut for a heart transplant. But it's moving. That's Mitchell Parrish, Belmont says quietly. 63. Heart transplant recipient. Died on the table 3 days ago. Transplant failed. Acute rejection. We pronounced him. Sent him to the morgue in the sub-basement. He's not dead now, Tyrell says. Mitchell Parrish's eyes are open. They track movement outside the containment barrier. His mouth opens and closes, no sound. That same mechanical approximation of speech I saw from the thing in the stairwell. There are more, Belmont says. 6 that we know of. All transplant recipients who died post-op. all stored in the sub-basement morgue. When the power surge hit the preservation systems, she stops, shakes her head. I don't know what, but they're active, animated. They're looking for something. Looking for what? Their organs. She pulls out her tablet, shows me the electronic logs. The organ storage units are open. All of them. Every preserved organ is missing. And these things, she gestures toward Mitchell Parish. They're going through the hospital, room by room, like they're searching. I look at the figure behind the containment barrier. Mitchell Parish. I remember him. I didn't do his transplant, that was Leonard Voss, one of the other cardiac surgeons, but I consulted on the case when complications developed. Hyperacute rejection. Sometimes the body just refuses the new organ, attacks it like a foreign invader, which it is. We're taking one person's heart and putting it in another person's chest, hoping the immune system can be suppressed enough to accept it. Sometimes it doesn't work. Where's the heart now? The one we transplanted into him? Belmont checks her tablet. According to the logs, it was returned to cold storage after we pronounced him. Standard protocol for failed transplant organs. We preserve them for pathology review, tissue studies. It was in the sub-basement. It was. Show me the security footage, I say, from the sub-basement, before the cameras cut out. Tyrell pulls it up on his phone, the feed I saw in the surgical bay, plus earlier footage. I watched the timeline backwards. The power failure at 9:47 p.m. The backup generator kicking in. The massive electrical surge through the preservation systems. The equipment literally sparks on camera, way more power than those units need. And then the storage units open, not from the outside, from the inside. The doors unlock, swing open, and what comes out? But they're moving. The hearts are pumping independently. No body, just the organ itself contracting and relaxing in rhythmic beats. The kidneys are pulsing. The livers are, I don't have a word for what the livers are doing. Undulating, and they're moving across the floor, toward something. The camera angle shifts, catches the morgue drawers in the corner. The drawers are opening. The bodies inside, the dead transplant recipients, they're sitting up. They're calling to them, Belmont says. The organs are going back to their original hosts. Look, she's right. I watch one of the hearts. I can't tell which one, the footage is grainy. Move across the floor and up onto one of the gurneys. The body on the gurney reaches out, takes the heart, holds it against the chest where a sternotomy scar cuts through dead skin, and the body stands up. That's not possible, I say, because it isn't. Dead bodies don't resurrect. Preserved organs don't move independently. None of this follows any biological principle I learned in 23 years of medical training. But I watched it happen. There's more, Belmont says. She's not looking at me. The transplant recipients who are still alive. The successful cases. They're having reactions. What kind of reactions? Their bodies are rejecting. All of them, simultaneously. Hyperacute rejection across the board. It started right after the power surge. Dr. Voss is managing them in the cardiac ICU, but she stops. Dad, they're saying their organs are moving inside their bodies. The patients are conscious and they're saying they can feel the organs trying to leave. I look at Mitchell Parish through the containment barrier. He's standing now, pressed against the plastic, hands flat against it, staring at me, staring at something behind me. I turn. Behind us, down the corridor, something's coming. Multiple shapes, moving with that same wrong gait I saw earlier. I count 5, 6, 8. They're wearing hospital gowns, surgical gowns. One is wearing scrubs with a name badge still clipped to the pocket. I can't read the name from here, but I see the Northwestern Memorial Hospital logo. These are transplant recipients from other hospitals, from across the city. All of them moving toward us with that same mechanical, incomplete coordination. They're drawn to the living recipients. I say, understanding. The organs inside our living patients, they're calling out. And the dead hosts are coming to reclaim them. Tyrell's already on his radio. All security to ground floor. Code Amber expansion. Seal the stairwells. Nobody gets to the cardiac ICU. How many living recipients do we have in the hospital? Belmont checks her tablet. 14. 9 cardiac, 3 liver, 2 kidney. 12 on the cardiac ICU floor. 2 in step down. The things in the corridor are getting closer. I can see their faces now, or what passes for faces. Skin stretched wrong. Eyes that track but don't quite focus. Mouths moving soundlessly. One of them stops. His head tilts, listening. Then it looks directly at me, and its mouth opens wider than a human mouth should, and it makes a sound like tearing paper, like ripping wet cloth, and it starts running. Fall back. Tyrell's pulling his weapon, but I grab his arm. Don't shoot. We don't know what these things are, if they're still human somehow. They're not human, Dr. Ward. We contain them. We seal this section. Then we figure out what they want. What they want. I already know what they want. They want what's in the cardiac ICU. They want the organs that used to belong to their bodies, the hearts and livers and kidneys we took from them when they died and gave to other people, kept alive in other people's chests. They want themselves back, and they're willing to go through us to get them. We seal the ground floor emergency department using the Code Amber containment protocols. Tyrell and his security team drop the fire barriers, those metal shutters designed for hazmat incidents. They come down across all the main corridors, cutting off the ED from the rest of the hospital. It's supposed to contain chemical spills, infectious disease outbreaks. It's not going to hold these things for long. Through the safety glass in the barrier doors, I watch them. 9 of them now, all former transplant recipients, all moving with that wrong mechanical gait. They're testing the barriers, pushing against them. One of them, wearing a hospital gown from Lutheran General, Northwest Suburbs, it's hitting the metal with its fists, and the impacts sound too heavy. Like the body mass is denser than it should be. How long do we have? Belmont asks. Tyrell checks his radio. City's aware of the situation. They're calling it a power grid malfunction with secondary hospital incidents, which is technically true. But when I try to explain what we're actually dealing with, he shakes his head. They're sending units, but they're treating it as a standard emergency response. Not this. This isn't standard. I say, no shit, doctor. My phone vibrates. Text from Leonard Voss, the cardiac surgeon. Ward, where are you? ICU situation's critical. Patient's crashing. I call him back. He answers before the first ring finishes. Ellis, thank God. The transplant recipients are failing. All of them. Simultaneously. His voice is strained. He's 20 years younger than me, brilliant surgeon, but I can hear the panic underneath. It's not standard rejection. The organs are, Christ, I don't know how to describe it. They're moving. Visible movement under the chest wall. I've got patients sedated and restrained because they're trying to tear open their own surgical sites. The organs are trying to leave, I say. Silence on the other end. Then, that's not possible. Nothing about tonight is possible. But that's what's happening. The preserved organs in the sub-basement reanimated during the power surge. The dead recipients came back looking for them. And now the organs inside your living patients are responding. They're trying to return to their original hosts. More silence. I hear monitors beeping in the background on his end. Someone shouting orders. What do we do? Leonard asks. Simple question. Impossible answer. Keep the patients sedated and monitored. Increase immunosuppression, see if that helps. And for God's sake, don't let anyone from outside the ICU get in. We've got 9 reanimated recipients on ground floor trying to reach your patients. Copy that. Ellis, he pauses. The organs we transplanted. They came from donors, real people who died. Their bodies are still in morgues across the city. If this is happening at Mercy General, if those preserved organs woke up, I understand what he's not saying. If the organs here reanimated, then the organs in every hospital in Chicago might have done the same. And if those organs are calling to their original hosts, Then there are bodies waking up in morgues across the entire city. The August blackout. Chicago grid failure. Every hospital backup generator surging simultaneously. Every preservation system overloading. Every stored organ reanimating. Every morgue in the city opening. I have to go, Leonard says. Patients crashing. ECMO failure. Jesus, his chest is. The line goes dead. Belmont's watching me. She knows what I'm thinking. I can see it in her face. She has that expression she used to get as a kid when she figured out I was lying about something. Christmas presents. Why her mother left. Why surgery took priority over her dance recital. How many donor bodies? She asks quietly. In the city? On any given day. I do the mental math. Chicago's a major transplant hub. Northwestern, Rush, University of Chicago, Mercy General, plus 6 other level 1 trauma centers. Hundreds, maybe more. If this happened at every hospital, it did. Tyrell's holding up his phone, showing the news alerts. I'm getting reports from across the city. Multiple hospitals reporting similar incidents. Lutheran General, Rush, Northwestern. All of them have backup generators that surged during the blackout. All of them have transplant programs. The security cameras still work on backup power. Tyrell switches the feed to show the external hospital entrance. The ambulance bay, the parking garage. They're coming, not just our 9. Dozens of them, hundreds, moving toward Mercy General from different directions, converging like they're following GPS coordinates. Some are wearing hospital gowns from other facilities. Some are in street clothes, probably direct from the city morgue. Some are in body bags, plastic tearing as they walk. All of them have that same incomplete face, that same wrong mechanical movement. All of them are heading for the cardiac ICU on the 5th floor, where 14 living transplant recipients have organs that used to belong to these bodies. We can't stop them all, Tyrell says. He's right. We have 4 security officers on site, maybe 30 hospital staff total who aren't patients, against what looks like 200 reanimated donor bodies, all focused on a single objective. Belmont pulls up the hospital map on her tablet. We redirect them. The ICU is on 5. We open the barriers on floors 3 and 4. Let them spread out. Make them search floor by floor while we evacuate the patients. Evacuate to where? The whole city is experiencing this. There's nowhere to take transplant recipients that isn't also surrounded by reanimated donors. Then we don't evacuate. She's thinking it through, talking fast like she does when she's working a mass casualty. We separate the patients from their organs. Remove the transplants. Put them back on mechanical support until this, whatever this is, passes. You want to remove 14 transplanted organs? The surgery alone would take days. And you're talking about putting patients back on ECMO, dialysis, life support systems while we have no main power and limited backup capacity. You have a better idea? I don't. That's the problem. We can't defend the ICU against hundreds of these things. We can't evacuate the patients safely. We can't simply return the organs because most of our living recipients would die within minutes without them. We have to choose. Protect the 14 people who receive transplants and are currently alive, or what? Let the reanimated donors reclaim their organs? Watch our patients die so these things can be whole again? Dad. Belmont's using that voice. The one that means she's figured out something I haven't. Those aren't just animated corpses. They're people. They were people. The donors signed consent forms. They agreed to give their organs to save lives. But something about what we did, the way we preserve organs, the way we transplant them, something kept part of them alive, conscious. And when that power surge happened, when their organs woke up, they woke up too. They're dead, Belmont. Are they? Look at them. She points to the security feed. The donors are outside now, pressing against the glass doors of the ambulance bay. Their faces are incomplete, but I see something in their eyes. Not empty. Not vacant, aware. They're trying to be whole again, Belmont says. That's all they want. Their own organs, their own bodies, and they'll kill 14 living patients to get them. Will they? Have they actually killed anyone? I think about the blood in the ED, the overturned gurneys, the screaming I heard. The casualties were staff who got in the way, security trying to stop them. But look at the footage again. They're not attacking randomly. They're moving with purpose, searching. They hurt people who blocked them, but they're not predators. They're patients. I finish. You're saying they're patients. I'm saying they're human. Or they were. And maybe part of them still is. Tyrell's radio crackles. His officer on the second floor. They're in the building. They breached the ambulance bay. Multiple contacts moving toward the stairwells. Estimate 5 minutes to ground floor. 5 minutes. Then they'll be here. Then they'll find the ICU. Then 14 of my patients, people I helped save, people who got second chances at life because someone else died and donated their organs. Those 14 will face a choice they didn't ask for. Live or make way for the dead to reclaim what's theirs. I look at Belmont, my daughter, emergency medicine resident who sees patients as people, not systems, who probably became a doctor to prove something to me, to show that medicine can be about compassion and not just technical competence. What's the right choice? I ask her. I don't know, she says. I really don't know, Dad. The donors are at the ground floor fire barriers. They're not trying to break through anymore. They're waiting, like they understand what's about to happen, like they know we're going to have to decide. We protect our patients, I say finally. The 14 in the ICU, that's our primary obligation. The dead? I stop. Can I call them dead when they're standing 20 feet away, breathing, moving, aware? The donors gave their organs to save lives. That's what they consented to. We honor that consent by protecting the recipients. Even if it means stopping the donors from taking back what belonged to them? Yes. Belmont looks at me for a long moment, then nods. Okay, then we need to move. Now. We head for the stairwell, Tyrell and 2 security officers with us. The plan is simple. Reach the cardiac ICU, reinforce the security there, keep the donors away from the patients long enough to what? For the power to come back? For the organs to stop calling out? For this nightmare to end? I don't have an answer. I just know that I'm going to protect my patients. That's what surgeons do. We fix what's broken. We fight for life, even when the dead come back asking for what we took from them, even when I'm not sure anymore if we have the right to keep it. The cardiac ICU on the 5th floor has 12 beds, all occupied, 12 living transplant recipients, each with an organ that used to belong to someone who's currently climbing the hospital stairwells looking for it. Leonard Voss meets us at the ICU entrance. He's still in surgical scrubs, blood spattered, hair disheveled. Thank God you're here. 3 patients are coding. The immunosuppression isn't working. The organs are rejecting in real time. Show me. He takes me to bed 4. Amanda Quiros, 38, heart transplant recipient from 4 months ago. Mother of 2. Her surgery was perfect. I assisted on it. The donor heart grafted beautifully. Her recovery was textbook. Now her chest is convulsing. I can see it through the hospital gown. Visible movement under her skin, under her ribs. The heart, her transplanted heart, is contracting violently, irregularly. Not a normal cardiac rhythm. This is something else. It's pulling away from the anastomosis sites, Leonard says, pointing to the monitor showing her cardiac function via ultrasound. The grafts are tearing. She's bleeding into her chest cavity. If we don't intervene, she'll die. I finish. How long? 90 minutes. Maybe less. I check the other patients. Same pattern. The transplanted organs are actively trying to separate from their new host bodies. Hearts pulling away from grafts. Livers tearing free from vascular connections. Kidneys migrating in the retroperitoneum like they're trying to crawl out. And the patients are conscious. Sedated but aware. I see Amanda Quiros's eyes tracking me as I examine her chest. She's trying to speak around the ventilator tube. Don't try to talk, I tell her. Standard bedside manner. We're managing the situation. But her eyes, she's terrified. She knows something's wrong with her body. She can feel the heart, the donor heart that saved her life 4 months ago. She can feel it trying to leave. Belmont's at my shoulder. Dad, they're in the building. The security cameras show the stairwells. The donors have reached the 3rd floor. Still climbing. Still moving with that mechanical wrong gait, but faster now. Like they're excited. Like they can sense how close they are. How do we stop them? Tyrell asks. I look at the ICU. 12 beds. 12 patients. All of them dying as their organs try to return to their original hosts. Then I look at the security feed. The donors climbing toward us. 200 of them, maybe more. All of them incomplete. All of them missing the parts that made them whole. We don't stop them, I say. Everyone turns to stare at me. Ellis, what are you talking about? Leonard's voice is sharp. Those things will kill our patients. No, I say slowly, working it through. They won't. They'll take back their organs. And our patients will die. But I turn to Belmont. What if we give them what they want? What if we remove the transplanted organs before the donors arrive? Return them voluntarily. The patients would need immediate life support, Belmont says. ECMO for the cardiac recipients. Dialysis for kidneys. We'd be sustaining them mechanically while what? Hoping their original organs grow back. No. Hoping new donors become available. Hoping this situation resolves and we can retransplant. That could take weeks, months. Our backup generators won't last that long. She's right. I know she's right. But I'm looking at Amanda Quiros, watching her chest convulse as her transplanted heart tries to tear itself free. And I'm thinking about the donor whose heart that was. 22 years old. Brain death declared at Northwestern Memorial. Family consented to organ donation. Young woman named, I checked the transplant records on the monitor, named Felicity Brenner. Felicity Brenner is somewhere in that crowd of donors climbing the stairwells. Missing her heart. Incomplete. Moving with that wrong mechanical gait because she's not whole. Hasn't been whole since we took her heart and put it in Amanda Quiros's chest. There's another option, I say quietly. Leonard stares at me. You can't be suggesting. We're doctors. We took an oath. But what we're doing right now, keeping these organs from their original hosts, is that doing no harm? Or is it prolonging suffering for everyone involved? Those donors are dead, Leonard says. They died. We didn't kill them. They died from accidents, disease, trauma. We saved our patients using organs that would have otherwise been wasted. Then why are the donors walking? Belmont asks. Why are they aware? Why are they searching for what's theirs? Nobody answers. Tyrell's radio crackles. 4th floor. They're on 4. Heading to the ICU stairwell. 2 minutes out. 2 minutes. I look at Amanda Quiros. Then at the security feed showing Felicity Brenner climbing the stairs. Hands reaching forward like she can feel her heart nearby. I have to choose. Protect Amanda Quiros. Let her keep the transplanted heart. Put her on ECMO. Defend her against Felicity Brenner. Watch 12 patients die slowly as their organs tear free anyway. Hope that somehow this resolves before backup power fails. Or remove the transplanted organs. Return them to their original hosts. Watch 12 people I saved. 12 people who got second chances, who have families waiting for them, who survived because someone else died and donated. Watch them die on operating tables as I surgically remove the organs keeping them alive. Murder 12 patients to give peace to 200 dead donors. Dad. Belmont's voice is quiet. Whatever you decide. I'm with you. The stairwell door alarm sounds. They're on our floor. Leonard. I say. Prep bed 4 for emergency organ harvest. We're removing Amanda Quiros's heart. Ellis, you can't. That's an order. Belmont, get ECMO ready. If we do this fast enough, we might be able to sustain her for. The ICU doors open. They're here, not forcing their way in. just standing in the doorway, watching. The closest one, I recognize the surgical scars, the build. That's Felicity Brenner, 22 years old. Brain death. Her family cried when they signed the donation consent forms. Said they were proud she could help someone else live. She's looking at Amanda Quiros, at the bed where her heart is trying to beat inside someone else's chest. Behind her, more donors. I count 20 in the ICU entrance. More in the hallway beyond. All of them incomplete. All of them waiting. Dr. Ward. Felicity Brenner's mouth moves. The voice that comes out is wrong, layered, like multiple voices speaking in imperfect synchronization. Give back what is ours. She can speak. They can speak. You donated your organs, I say, stepping forward, positioning myself between her and Amanda Quiros. Your family consented. You saved lives. We did not consent to this. To what? Awareness, trapped in pieces. Her hand, Felicity's hand, points to her chest where her heart should be. Felt everything for months, beating in wrong body, seeing through someone else's eyes, knowing we were incomplete, screaming in the dark, unable to I stopped breathing. You were conscious? Belmont asks. In the preserved organs? In the transplant recipients? All of every donor, aware, trapped, divided. Felicity's incomplete face tilts. You took part, kept alive, the preservation systems, the nutrient perfusion, the oxygenation. We thought we were keeping organs viable for transplant. But what if we were keeping awareness alive in harvested tissue? What if every transplanted organ carries the recipients? I say slowly. Do they know? Do they feel you? Some dream, remember things they never experienced. Memories bleeding through. I think about the post-transplant reports. The stories recipients tell about personality changes, food preferences shifting, new memories that aren't theirs. We always attributed it to immunosuppression side effects, medication, stress. But what if it was real? What if the donors were there the whole time, trapped in their own organs, aware but unable to communicate? I can't just let them die, I say, gesturing to the 12 ICU patients. They're people. They have families, lives. So, did we? Felicity steps forward. The others follow. Give back what is ours. Let be whole. Let finally. They're not here to kill. They're here to end. To be complete one final time before whatever animates them fades. But giving them what they want means 12 of my patients die. I turn to look at Amanda Quiros. Her eyes are still open, still watching. And I see something there, recognition, understanding. She knows. Belmont whispers, Dad, look at her vitals. Amanda's heart rate is slowing, not crashing, stabilizing. Like the transplanted heart inside her is calming down. Like Felicity, speaking aloud, has somehow communicated directly with the organ inside Amanda's chest. Amanda, I say, moving to her bedside, can you hear me? Can you feel her? Felicity Brenner? The donor. Amanda blinks. Once for yes. That's the protocol we teach patients on vents. 1 blink for yes, 2 for no. Has she been there? This whole time? Since the transplant? 1 blink. I look back at Felicity, at the donors filling the ICU entrance. If we return the organs, if we remove them and give them back to you, what happens to you? We become whole, complete. Then we rest. Finally, yes, she wants to die. They all want to die, but they can't. Not while their organs are scattered across living recipients, keeping fragments trapped in foreign bodies. We didn't save lives with transplantation. We divided deaths, made them incomplete, extended donor awareness across multiple bodies, none of them their own. The recipients, Belmont says, without their transplanted organs, will die, I finish, within minutes for the cardiac recipients, hours for the others, unless we put them on life support, ECMO, dialysis. For how long? Days? Weeks? Until our backup power fails? Until new donors become available who suffer the same fate as these? I'm looking at Amanda Quiros, at Felicity Brenner, at 12 living patients and 200 incomplete donors. I'm a surgeon. I fix things. I save lives. That's my entire identity. My entire career, 23 years of repairing hearts and extending lifespans. But what if saving lives this way, transplanting organs, preserving them in between, keeping donors trapped and aware, what if that's not saving lives at all? What if it's creating something worse than death? We can't make this choice, Leonard says. We're not God. We can't decide who lives and who dies. Someone has to decide. Tyrell says quietly, those things are getting agitated. Look, the donors are shifting, moving forward, slowly but inexorably, toward the beds, toward the patients, toward the organs that belong to them. If we don't choose, Tyrell continues, they'll take what they want anyway, and our patients will die. At least if we do it surgically controlled, we can try to. Try to what? Leonard's voice cracks. Save them with what? We can't retransplant. Not after this. Not knowing what we know now. He's right. How can I ever perform another transplant knowing the donor might be aware, trapped in their own harvested organ? How can any of us? Dad. Belmont's hand on my arm. Amanda's trying to say something. I lean close to Amanda Quiros. Her lips are moving behind the ventilator tube. I can't hear her, but I can read the shape her mouth makes. Let her have. Amanda, let her have back. Amanda Quiros, mother of two, is telling me to remove the heart keeping her alive and return it to the donor it came from. She's choosing death, choosing it right now, knowing what it means. The others, I say to Leonard, check the other patients, see if they're aware. Ask them, he does, moving bed to bed, asking yes or no questions to the conscious patients. The ones alert enough to respond. 11 of the 12 blink yes to the same question. Do you want us to return the organ? The 12th, Gerald Portman, 72, liver transplant, is unconscious, sedated too deeply to communicate. He doesn't consent, Leonard says. We can't. His liver's already tearing free, Belmont says, looking at the ultrasound. He's bleeding internally. He's going to die anyway. 11 patients consenting to die. 1 patient dying regardless. 200 donors waiting to be complete. I look at Felicity Brenner. If we do this, if we return the organs surgically, you'll let us do it properly? You'll wait, she nods. That wrong mechanical movement, but unmistakably a nod. And after you're whole, you'll rest? You'll stop. Yes, all of across the city. Once we are complete, we will rest across the city. Every donor, every reanimated body searching for its organs. If we do this here, if we start returning organs at Mercy General, maybe it stops. Maybe it shows the other donors that we understand, that we're trying to fix what we did. Or maybe it's just 12 people dying for nothing. Ellis. Leonard's voice is steady now. If you do this, I'm reporting you. Medical board. Criminal charges. Whatever it takes. You'll never practice medicine again. I know. Those patients consented under duress. Coercion. They're not mentally competent to. They're dying anyway, I say. Look at them. The organs are rejecting. Tearing free. We're just making it faster. Surgical instead of slow. That's execution. That's triage. I turn to Belmont. Get the ready. All 12 patients. simultaneous harvest procedures. We're removing every transplanted organ in this ICU. Dad, we're doing this. Now, before I change my mind. Felicity Brenner steps aside. The other donors part, creating a path to the surgical bays. Waiting, watching, trusting us to undo what we did. I scrub for surgery. Force of habit probably doesn't matter, not for what I'm about to do. Leonard refuses to participate. Walks out. Says he won't be part of murder. Maybe he's right. Maybe I'm ending 12 lives instead of saving them. But I'm also ending 200 imprisoned fragments. 200 people who've been trapped, aware, divided, unable to die. Sometimes saving lives means knowing when to let go. I performed the first harvest on Amanda Quiros. It's technically perfect. The way I've done it thousands of times. Sternotomy, bypass machine, except we're not keeping her alive for surgery. We're just making the removal clean. Preserving the organ's integrity. Her transplanted heart, Felicity's heart, comes free in my hands, still beating, pumping, warm and alive. I walk to the ICU entrance. Felicity Brenner stands there, waiting, her chest open where her heart should be. The surgical scar that killed her has opened again, revealing the cavity inside. I place the heart in her chest. She gasps. The sound is human, fully human, not that layered wrong voice. Her incomplete face fills in, skin and muscle forming over bone in seconds, impossibly fast. Her eyes focus, clear, aware. "Thank you," Felicity Brenner says, her own voice, not divided anymore. Then she closes her eyes and doesn't open them again. Her body collapses, not falling, settling. Like someone lying down to sleep after being awake for days. She's dead. Actually, finally dead. Behind me, I hear Amanda Quiros' monitors flatline. I move to the next patient. The Chicago Medical Examiner's Office lists 1,847 reanimated donor bodies across the metropolitan area on the night of August 27th. All of them returned to rest after their organs were surgically retrieved from living recipients and returned. All of the recipients died. I performed 12 of those retrievals. Leonard Voss reported me to the medical board the next morning, like he said he would. Criminal investigation started 72 hours later. The Illinois State's attorney is calling it 12 counts of voluntary manslaughter. My lawyer, appointed, I can't afford private counsel anymore, says we might argue necessity defense. Coercion, that the patients consented, that they were dying anyway. The families of those 12 recipients are calling it murder. Amanda Quiros' children, 7 and 9 years old, they don't understand why I killed their mother. Their testimony is part of the prosecution's case. They have to explain to a courtroom how their mother survived 4 months post-transplant, recovered beautifully, came home, had dinner with them the night before the blackout, had a future, and then I surgically removed her heart and let her die. I can't explain to them about Felicity Brenner, trapped in harvested organs, about donors who couldn't die because we kept parts of them alive, aware, scattered across living recipients. I can't explain because even I'm not sure I understand it. 6 months. Belmont doesn't work at Mercy General anymore. Resigned before they could terminate her for assisting with the procedures. She's doing telemedicine now. Virtual consultations. Won't go near a hospital. She calls me twice a week. Asks how I'm doing. I lie. Tell her I'm fine. I'm not fine. I dream about Amanda Quiros. About her eyes watching me as I put her on the bypass machine, removed her heart, walked it to Felicity Brenner's corpse. About the flatline sound when Amanda died. About her children's faces at the preliminary hearing. I dream about all 12 of them. Every night. Different faces, same procedure, same outcome. My hands remember the surgeries. Muscle memory. I wake up at 3 a.m. with my hands moving through the motions, sternotomy, bypass cannulation, cardioplegia, harvest. 23 years of saving lives reduced to 12 perfect executions. The medical board revoked my license 3 months ago. Didn't wait for the criminal trial. said I violated every principle of medical ethics, performed unnecessary surgery, caused patient deaths, showed catastrophic lapse in judgment. Leonard Voss testified against me, said I had other options, could have defended the ICU, could have kept patients on life support, could have tried to negotiate with the reanimated donors instead of immediately capitulating. He's probably right. The transplant program at Mercy General shut down permanently. So did programs at Northwestern, Rush, University of Chicago. Across the country, actually, nobody wants to transplant organs anymore. Not after August 27th. Not after we learned that donors might be conscious in their harvested tissue. The waiting list for organ transplants used to be over 100,000 people nationally. Those people are dying now. Kidney failure, liver failure, heart failure. No transplants available. No donors willing to risk after death. I saved 12 donor fragments and killed 100,000 future recipients. Or I ended 12 lives to free 1,847 trapped. Depends on perspective. Belmont says I did the right thing. That the donors deserved peace. That keeping them divided and aware was torture. She's trying to make me feel better. It's not working. I don't go outside anymore. The trial is in 4 months. The prosecutor is asking for consecutive sentences. 12 counts, each carrying 3 to 7 years. I could spend the rest of my life in prison. My lawyer says the defense is weak. That consent under duress won't hold up. That I made an impossible choice in an impossible situation, but that doesn't excuse causing 12 deaths. He's not wrong. Sometimes I wonder what Amanda Quiros felt. In those final minutes, when her heart was tearing free and Felicity Brenners was speaking through my voice, did Amanda really consent? Or did she just see no other option? Did she choose death? Or did I force it on her by removing the only other choice? I count the others. 11 consented explicitly. Gerald Portman was unconscious. I decided for him. Made the choice he couldn't make. That's what surgeons do. We make choices. Life and death decisions. Every surgery, every procedure, we're deciding someone's fate. But we're supposed to choose life. Always life. I chose death 12 times in 6 hours. The Chicago Tribune ran a feature on the families. The victims of August 27th. Photos of all 12 recipients. Smiling photos from before. Amanda Quiros with her children. Gerald Portman with his grandchildren. Others with their families, their lives, their futures. All dead because I believed Felicity Brenner when she said they wanted to be whole. When she said they would rest after reclaiming their organs. What if she was lying? What if the power surge just reanimated corpses, biological automatons, and I killed 12 people based on that assumption? I'll never know. The organs are gone. The donors are gone. All of them dissolved, not decomposed, dissolved within hours of becoming complete. Their bodies turned to organic slurry, untestable, unrecoverable. The CDC tried to analyze tissue samples, but everything degraded before they could culture it properly. No evidence, just my testimony that the donors spoke to me, that they claimed that the recipients consented, and 12 death certificates. Belmont came over yesterday, brought groceries, made me eat, asked if I was sleeping. I told her about the dreams, about Amanda Quiros' children, about the sound of the monitors flatlining. She said, "Dad, you made an impossible choice. Nobody could have made a better one." I said, "I killed 12 people to give peace to something that might not have been conscious at all." She said, "You believed they were conscious. In that moment, with the information you had, you believed them. That's all anyone can do. But belief isn't enough. Not when lives are at stake. Surgeons are supposed to operate on evidence, data, reproducible results. Not belief, not faith. I had faith in Felicity Brenner's incomplete face and layered voice. I had faith that returning those organs was more merciful than keeping 12 people alive. Faith kills. Evidence saves. I learned that backwards on August 27th. The trial starts in 4 months. My lawyer filed motions, temporary insanity, extreme duress, consent defense. All denied. The judge said I'm a trained surgeon with decades of experience, that I should have known better, that there's no excuse for what I did. He's right. I knew better. I knew you don't remove functioning organs from living patients. I knew you don't perform surgery based on the testimony of reanimated corpses. I knew 12 people would die if I did what Felicity Brenner asked. I did it anyway. Belmont asks if I would make the same choice again. If I went back to that night, knowing what I know now, would I still remove those organs? I don't answer, because the truth is, I don't know. I don't know if Felicity Brenner was conscious. I don't know if the donors suffered. I don't know if I freed trapped awareness or murdered 12 innocent people based on biological anomalies speaking words I wanted to hear. I don't know anything anymore. I used to be certain. Heart failure, transplant, blocked vessels, bypass. Clear problem, clear solution, clear outcome. August 27th taught me that nothing is clear, that the body keeps secrets, that donors might experience their own dissection, their own harvesting, their own transplantation into foreign bodies, or that power surges can reanimate dead tissue into approximations of life that say what they need to say to achieve their programmed objective. I'll never know which, and 12 people are dead because I chose one interpretation over the other. Amanda Kiros's children will testify at my trial. 7 and 9 years old. They'll stand in front of a jury and explain how their mother died. How Dr. Ellis Ward, the surgeon who saved her life 4 months ago, surgically removed her heart and gave it to a corpse. How he killed their mother. They're not wrong. I wake up at 3 a.m. every night. My hands move through the surgical motions. Sternotomy, bypass, harvest. My mind counts Amanda Kiros, Gerald Portman, the other 10 whose names I rehearse like a prayer, like penance. 12 people. 12 times I chose death. 12 times my hands remember perfectly. Belmont says time will help. That eventually I'll process the trauma. That I'll understand I made the best choice I could in an impossible situation. She's wrong. Time doesn't help. 6 months and the dreams are worse. The guilt is worse. The certainty that I murdered 12 patients while believing I was freeing trapped, that certainty is crushing. I don't leave my apartment. I don't answer calls except Belmont's. I don't read the news coverage about the families, the lawsuits, the congressional hearings about organ transplant protocols. I just wait for months until trial. For months until 12 families testify against me. For months until a jury decides if what I did was mercy or murder. I already know the answer. I count Amanda Kiros's children. 7 and 9. Old enough to remember their mother. Young enough that they'll spend most of their lives without her. Because I believed a corpse when it spoke. I count Gerald Portman's grandchildren. 6 of them. He was planning to attend 3 graduations this spring. He had 23 years of retirement ahead. I count all of them. All the futures I ended. All the lives I terminated based on faith instead of evidence. All the seconds those 12 hearts would have kept beating if I'd made a different choice. My hands remember the surgeries. They always will. Clean incisions. Textbook harvests. 23 years of training applied flawlessly to kill 12 patients. That's what I am now. Not a surgeon. A killer with surgical precision. The medical board made sure I'll never forget that. The families will make sure no one else forgets either. And somewhere in the city, in morgues and funeral homes and crematoriums, 1,847 donors rested after August 27th. Became whole. Found peace. If they were really conscious. If I didn't just believe what I needed to believe to justify what I did. I'll spend every remaining day not knowing which. And 12 families will spend every remaining day knowing exactly what I took from them.